Hey, welcome to Circle of Enmity podcasting episode 6. That's right, we've made it 6. That's all. Well, that's more than half of 10. That's one more than half of 10. How are we still around? Anyways, today your hosts, starting off, it's Big Rec Up. He's the resident wannabe millionaire. Well, no, billionaire really now. He's getting close to the big 1 bill. All right, and I'm sorry, Ignitia, our resident tryhard, and your main host, Raging Rondo. That's me. And today we are talking with Pizza the Hut, the Merc rep. Say hi, Pizza.
How's it going, guys?
After talking with Pizza, we're going to go ahead and move on to Reddit news and holiday events. Where are they? Why should I pay for it? What's going on? Just kidding. Let's get in and get started talking with Pizza the Hut here tonight. And I think the first question, Pizza, is why did you choose to be a mercenary?
Oh man, good question. Let's see. Actually, I played Star Wars Galaxies back in the day, and yeah, dude, I loved that game. It was the only other MMO I ever played, and then I was a bounty hunter in that, and I loved the bounty hunter play in that. A totally different game, obviously, totally different like play style and everything, but just because I enjoyed that tune so much, I just had to make a bounty hunter when I first started playing this game, and also, you know, Boba Fett is the man.
Right. My name, I think I've said in the past, has sort of been off of Rondo, and then I
Nice.
was an NBA player, and I've been trolled ever since.
That's cool.
I think one of the
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, yeah, man. When I first started, like I said, I only played one other MMO, and that Star Wars Galaxies was like way easier to play, I think, than this was. It just is more updated, I suppose, battle system and everything, and so I really had no idea going into it. It's just pure luck that I stayed with my mercenary as my first tune ever made, and then stayed with it.
Well, I think actually going into the easier factor, or I mean the harder or whatever factor that you were talking about here, Ignitia had a really good question to start you off with. I think today after the
Sure.
general, why'd you pick it? It's so good. Whatever question. Ignitia, go ahead and start him off with his first hard question of the night.
Well, my question is what do you believe is the state of range DPS as of right now in Star Wars: The Old Republic? Do you believe that certain classes need to be nerfed, or do you believe certain classes need to be buffed overall? And I'm talking across the entire spectrum.
Let's see. Honestly think that Mercs and Sorks are on a pretty even playing field. Sorks get a bad name for themselves, a bad rep, I think, just because they're squishy, but you got a good player that can play a Sork just fine, and I think their DPS is pretty even with Mercenary. But snipers are definitely a little OP. They did get them nerfed a little bit with the Orbital Strike getting nerfed. And once they can't use those double SA relics, that'll hurt them a little bit, so we'll have to reevaluate at that point. But at this point, they definitely are just a little too powerful, and I think there's more nerfs coming, though, from what I've read. I haven't been following their threads that much, but I'm pretty sure BioWare has announced a couple nerfs, so
Okay, so
we'll see how it plays out.
do you think it's their nerfs that are needed? I mean, just from our spectrum as players, is it their nerfs, or do you think when they nerf them, it's just going to make the bosses almost too hard to beat? Like, I almost feel like mercenaries and sorks might need a buff instead of bringing them down. I mean, what do you think?
So far, I mean, we're gonna have to see what Nightmare DF and DP brings, but so far it hasn't really been that challenging.
Yeah, well, I mean,
As far as DPS goes, like S&V. Yeah, well, that's true, but even S&V, you're really not in danger of hitting many rage encounter, except for Styrek maybe, and that's it. I feel like that's more of a mechanic-based operation. I feel like so are Dread Fortress and Dread Palace. So they might be going more towards a mechanic-based and not just DPS races, which would actually be a good thing.
Actually, we talked about that in the past, about how it doesn't really feel as much of a DPS race this time around. It feels like it's
No, not at all.
mechanical feel, and I think we even talked one night. I wiped us on Corruptor 0 by not running in with the bomb, and the time before that I had yelled at somebody for not doing that, and we said that these raid contents are really going to make good raiders eat their words. What do you think?
Well, I think the good thing about them making it all mechanics is that more guilds can participate in ending or beating endgame content. With the DPS race of like TFB Nightmare, there's only a few guilds like worldwide that were even like a handful of them that were clearing it, until they were geared up a little bit and could out DPS it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know if that's really good for the game to only have a few guilds that can do it.
I guess I'm one of each side. Me and Ignitia were big WoW players, and if you remember WoW, oh no, you might not.
I never played it.
Yeah, there was only certain guilds that were finishing content at the time too, and they were the main guilds. But they weren't at their peak then, and they didn't really hit their peak until what's it called? Burning Crusades, which everybody started downing content then too. So I mean, maybe that you're right. Maybe that is good for the game as a whole.
I think if SWTOR had more subscribers, like the amount that WoW has, for instance, or had in their heyday, I think then you want to make the hardest content like only passable by like a small percent, but I feel like if there's only a couple guilds, I think that's too few. Only like a couple guilds that can clear content. But at the same time, it I guess forces maybe the good players to consolidate a little bit more. But it kind of leaves a lot of people in the dust.
Is that
I don't know.
Is that good for the game as a whole when all the really great players are consolidated in 3 main guilds or something?
No, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because, think about it. If you're one of those players, you don't want to, be wiping on shit because you're having to play with players that aren't as experienced or, what have you. So it's like you want to just go... different people feel differently about that. Like, some might really enjoy teaching those guilds, or trying to get them better and grow their own thing or something like that. But a lot of them, like me, for instance, I just want to clear stuff. I want to get my gear and go bang on the dummy.
Right, you don't want
You know what I mean?
with me joining your guild and all of a sudden nothing dies right now.
No, dude, you did not. You weren't too bad. You held your own.
Yeah, I tried, but when you have an entire guild going, but look at the number of pizzas pulling. It's just at the point you're like, oh crap, I'm just never gonna be there. But no, I learned a lot from
But it brings good minds together too, though. With all the good players going to a guild, helps distribute that information to more people.
No, yeah, I agree, and I've brought back everything I've learned from you, and I've helped make mercenaries, and they go, "Oh, thanks for the help." I'm like, thank Pizza, because he's the one who taught me. And
yeah, man, I really enjoy actually teaching people. So it works out for me. I'm glad that I can.
Yeah, no, and so let's move on to some of the responses you got. So you were class rep for what, all of one question said, I think.
Yep.
And do you agree with them?
Three questions, I guess.
Until they fixed what was already being talked about? I mean, how do you feel about that?
No, if, for instance, our questions didn't even influence 2.5, which was the big class balance change. So it's if ours were already too late, why not just keep going with the other ones? You know what I mean? It's whatever.
I mean,
let's just get our feedback. As for me, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I have it pulled up right here, and I think you had a great question from the community. And if you don't mind, I'm just going to go ahead. This was brought up with
Go for
the
it.
4-piece set, and I think that I'd like to hear your response on what was responded about the 4-piece set and
I'm gonna pull it up right now.
our mitigation with or just our resource and how it works. And I would like to,
The resource management.
yeah, resource management. There you go. I can bumble and stumble my way through it, I guess. So this is from Eric, right? I think, yeah, he's the one who responded to this one. Oh, no, this was from, yeah, Eric Musco, community manager.
Yeah, it's words from the devs,
Yeah.
but he just relays.
Yeah, so he says, we are sorry that the community did not positively receive the change to the 4-piece eliminator set bonus, and the change was in fact directed at making the set useful for pyrotech assault specialists / assault specialists. But in reality, this set bonus only serves to mask the real issues. Think about that real quick. A systematic problem with the heat / energy cell system. And I'm just going to go a little bit further into the next one. He says, as a damage dealer, it is not fun being forced to fight 2 battles at the same time, one against your enemy target and another against your resource bar. As you pointed out, we have made changes to certain abilities. I'm not going to go over those abilities, and even created entire abilities to mitigate the frustration caused by unforgiving resource system, but maybe the time has finally come to fix the real problem, the resource system itself. And I'm not going to read the next part, but he goes to say that it is such a difficult process to fix a resource system that it's not something they even think they're going to be able to tackle within the next like certain time frame. So basically,
Yeah.
learn to deal at the moment.
So what's your question to me? What's my reaction?
Yeah, what was your reaction to that? Did you feel like,
Well,
it was just because they admit there's an issue and they admit that they're not working on it?
yeah, and it goes, like when I first read it, I just thought, okay, first of all, put up a big stop sign. Come on, man, we don't need to change the whole resource system. I mean, I like managing heat. I think that's part of why people like playing Mercenary, is because they like managing. You have to like your resource system. So it's just really difficult right now for a lot of players because you really have to. You have to be put a lot of practice into really being able to master it, so you don't overheat. And if you do overheat, you just get punished so much, DPS wise, that you can't really keep up with your competition unless you're playing flawlessly.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sorry.
Do you have any suggestions on how to fix that resource system, though?
Yeah, I mean, you can see in the comments that I put there, I pretty much agree with all of it when I put in the initial question. All we needed is a free rail shot pack, really, is about it. And maybe you could add in, like, venting heat with rapid shots, like the operatives do. I mean, you see the operatives use the exact same resource system, just in reverse, and they don't have any problems. So obviously it's doable. They just need to make a couple of changes to make it more like the operative.
I think they even suggested a good one, the 40%. Make it a change at 40%. Instead of 25, or is it 20%? I'm sorry, I did.
It's 40% right now, so they'd have to. Yeah, it's 40% right now. Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
40 heat,
like changing at 60, even that would give you.
Even 50, I think, would be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I mean, if they don't want to have to get crazy.
Because I think what they also say is they don't want a mercenary healer, to be able to heal all day.
Because it's not keeping under 40 heat that's difficult. It's doing both, keeping it above 0 and below 40, and trying to squeeze in your big hits like rail shot and heat seeker, and trying to squeeze all that in right on CD.
What do you mean by that with the 0?
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't want to be sitting at 0 heat is just as bad as going over 40 heat, because when you're sitting at 0 heat, you're basically wasting resources. Like, you have resources to use, you should be using them, not using lesser powerful abilities. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah,
like rapid shots.
I always like learning shit. See, I can't even. I'm on a podcast that I'm running, and when he talks, I listen. I'm telling you, I love it. So back to what we were originally talking about. See, that's why I'm better than you, Ignitia, when it comes to the DPS chart, because he said we're on the same playing field, but you just he said it. I didn't say it. Okay, he said it. I'm just the guy in the tie and the lumberjack jacket. Okay.
I still think sorcerers are somewhat behind a little bit, but not quite as drastic as I thought before. But it's extremely drastic between snipers and sorcerers.
Yeah, snipers are just really powerful, DPS wise and utility wise. Just like, come on, help us out a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. How about you, Big? You got any? You're like monetary side of things. That's probably why you're a little quiet tonight. But did you have any questions about Mercenary? Maybe even bringing up the healing side a little. I know. I think we've done a little bit. Talk about it in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I started out in the game beta as on my Merc, but I switched over because I was doing primary healing to the operative. So, especially in ranked war zones, it seems to be everyone's bringing an operative. Do you think the healing classes are balanced as far as Merc and versus an operative goes?
All I can speak of is just from like witnessing, because I've only dabbled in healing. I just done a few flashpoints. I mean, it's so easy to do those. I've never tried bringing Merc healing into a raid before. I play an operative healer though, so I know how that one works. And I know that it's a breeze to heal as an operative, at least in PvE. But I think that it's just like DPS, it just takes a higher skill level to play a Merc healer. I think that they can still be just as effective as the other ones, but you're just have to, not any old, Joe Blow can do it, I don't think.
Well, they don't believe me that you guys.
That's my opinion.
Had one for a while that was downing TFB.
Yeah, we had a pretty good one, and then I had played with a really good one back when I was in Potato. Ashir was a really good Merc healer. So I know that they're definitely capable. It's just you need to spend the time on it.
Yeah. No, and I think that's kind of like what we came up with too. But when we talked Merc healing in one of our casts, I think our final, and I don't know, maybe you could tell us differently, is that we feel that what a Merc could do, that same person playing an operative could do better.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Like what we came up with on that, and I think that's just like general mercenary healing. I actually went mercenary,
but I think mercenary healing is fun.
Oh, I
think it's a lot of fun to play.
I think it's a lot of fun, and I actually, like I was gonna say, I started off to be a Merc healer. It just it just wasn't.
I mean, op is fun too. I like how mobile you are, but Merc would be fun just because you're shooting things.
And everybody hates
I'm gonna be straight up Captain Killjoy, but I think it's boring as hell. But that's just me. I think sorcerer and operative is so much more funner.
Initiate.
But that's just me.
It's different. I just like having blasters.
Yeah, me too. It's just one of those things that it reminds me a lot of other healing that I've done in other MMOs. I'm sorry, it reminds me of healing of not the other healing I've done in other MMOs. It's like this completely different like style to me, and I wanted to go with it, and I wanted them to do it right, and then not that they didn't do it right, like it is viable, but I could be on an op doing a lot more is what I think.
Yeah, I think they could give him some love. There's no doubt that there's room for some love from our healers.
Come on, baby, give us some love, How about this question? What is the worst or the most prevalent thing that you see new or mercenaries that need help doing? What is the thing that they need help with the most when they come to you looking for help?
It's usually just something that is really hard to teach, just that like anticipation, because when you're playing in a Merc DPS or healer, you have to be very aware of your resources and your abilities, when they're coming off CD, what your priority system, and then of course in an operation you have to be really aware of what's going on. So it's like, I think that, what was the initial question again?
What is the worst thing you see doing?
Yeah, so anticipation, like just being able to see when your abilities are coming off CD, prepare for it so that you don't overheat. Like, you have to have all those things in mind. You have to have in mind that I got to keep your heat low so that you can blast Heatseeker missile and rail shot right when they come off CD. You're always casting. No downtime in between. And I mean, that's the biggest thing, is just heat management and anticipating. It's a combination, I mean, I don't think that there's some people that are really good at APMs, but they can't hit their abilities efficiently. So it's just, it's kind of all over the place, but I'd say the number one thing is just heat management, anticipating where your heat's going to be 2 GCDs down, I think is the one thing that just sets some mercs apart from others.
Yeah, I definitely remember that back when I used to play the Merc, and around 1.1 and 1.2, there was, definitely a lot of abilities you're having to watch the timers on, and I used to double them up as well. So I used to have the, to put the double up some of the abilities, so I can, have my timer set up at the top of some abilities, so I watch them on cooldown, as well as on my bar. So I guess that hasn't changed much then.
Yeah, it's just, you gotta just be really thinking ahead. You really have to think ahead as a Merc.
Hello.
If you want to be able to compete with snipers.
Hello.
But I have to say though, with the pyro spec right now is looking pretty dang good. It's right up there with snipers. Arsenal is just way behind right now. Snipers are way up there. Like a Mercenary, Arsenal can hit about 3,400 and like fully geared right now. Pyro's way up there right now. Their adjusted DPS after like armor debuff and everything is like over 3,700 right now. That's even more than a sniper. Snipers are the hybrids up to like 3,600, and the marksman's like 35. So
I love pyrotech. I've always been an advocate for pyrotech, and it's so if you're saying if you have a sniper in the raid with you, is it viable for me to say, hey, I'm gonna go and give pyrotech a try?
Oh, for sure. If you have a sniper or a jug in group with you, someone that can apply the armor debuff, a pyro can keep up with a sniper. They might have. It's going to take some mastering, because just obviously like a single target like Nephra is a piece of cake on pyro, but some of the other fights with a lot of target switching and adds, you have to kind of learn how to use those dots to their maximum effectiveness, and they're not as bursty, but they can still bring some burst.
So,
but like sorcerers, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, is that only if you have a sniper, or is it a good idea to go ahead and start practicing on the pyro now? And so I have an additional question after that, but I should probably let you answer that first.
Well, basically, if you want to put out the most DPS as a mercenary right now, you should learn pyro. It's putting out the most. It's putting out more than Arsenal. They just fixed the bug that mercenaries had with the offhand rail shot, venting an additional 8 heat, which was making it incredibly easy to play. You never had to use any rapid shots. It was just like smooth as butter, and you could just throw up crazy numbers. So they fixed that, but it's still more powerful than any other class when it comes to just sustained DPS single target. More than any other AC.
Is crit
any other spec
that for mercenaries?
Well, crit is still like meh, you can have anywhere from like very little crit, like 150 crit, to like 500 crit, and your DPS is only going to adjust by like 0.1% or 0.2% or something like that. It's just like, it's almost not even worth like thinking about that much. And that's another thing some people get derailed on. It's like, oh, what crit power should I have? It's like, just throw it somewhere around 200, 300 and you're fine. Like, it's not, crit is just not real. It's good to have, but it's just so equal in value to power that it's just not that big a deal.
Yeah. So any other questions from the rest?
You want some?
Oh yeah, of course you want some.
Yeah, I mean you want some, but you just it's there's just such a big range that you can have that it's okay. You don't have to think too much about it.
As of right now, I have no further questions. Does my fellow juror go with the same concurrence?
Well, I did have one last question if we're wrapping up here. You know, back to leveling when you first started your bounty hunter. What made you go Merc instead of Power Tech?
I think the dual blasters. Yeah, I wanted the dual blasters. I wanted I liked Arsenal when I was playing it. I honestly didn't know what I was even doing when I first started this game. Like I played with a couple of guys who put some personal friends that played WoW, so they kind of knew what they were doing already, and I was just completely lost when I started playing this game. Like, what the heck? What is this? What is that? What is this? And I was just like, do I want dual blasters or do I want, big gun or whatever? I'm like, all right, let's go with dual blasters. And you know what? Going back to Star Wars Galaxies, I had dual pistols and that. So.
All right, so I'm
that's
I'm sorry. What were you gonna say, Bing?
Oh, I would say that was funny. It was just the same reason when I first started playing this game, I was on the Merc, and same thing. I didn't know the difference between the Merc and the Power Tech, and same thing. I just wanted the dual blasters, and heck, up until like level 20 and 30, I thought I could actually still tank on my bounty hunter unsuccessfully in a few flashpoints.
All right, so
Yeah.
my last question is, how does it feel to be a SWTOR celebrity?
SWTOR celebrity. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. You get a lot of PMs though. You have to. It comes with great fame comes great responsibility. So. But no, I enjoy I remember it was January, February, and there was really no good Merc guides out there, and I was like, man, I feel like I know more than a lot of these people who are trying to teach, and I'm like, they're giving them inaccurate information. So I'd try and tell them what to put in their guide, and they wouldn't want to change it. So I was like, you know what, screw this. I'm just gonna make my own guide, do what I think makes it looks good. And, I know I put up good numbers, and then just it became really popular. People liked it. It helped them, and now people come to me for a lot of stuff. So I think it's cool.
I think I told you the story before of Maisa, who's been on the store on here before, and his stalkers that show up to his restaurant to hear stories about the great Pizzathehutt. So you definitely got a fan base out there, buddy, and no, it's good. You're
so funny, man.
You're willing to help out, and I like that about you. I wasn't expecting it when I came over to Suck a Fish. I thought you were gonna have a big head, and
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, dude, I'm just a nerd like anyone else.
For sure, man. Any last words on the Mercenary before we cut ties and tell you to get the F off our podcast? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't think so, man. I mean, just hope anybody who wants to play Mercenary, just practice a lot, because that's the only way you're gonna get good. And thanks for having me on.
No, man, it was our pleasure. And if you ever want to come back, you ever have anything you want to talk about, you know how to get a hold of me. If you figure out that pyro is the next best thing to cheese or something.
Yeah, I would say anybody who wants to put out better numbers, learn pyro. There's still a couple fights where Arsenal is nice to have, but most of them are pyro. Good.
You hear that, Rondo? You're switching to pyro?
I did hear that. And you know what? I've wanted to do that. I think that somewhere on the Suck a Fish forums, there's still a theory crafted version of my
Yeah,
thing. Like it's nothing compared to what you're gonna put out, but it was my little like, look what I can do. I'm helping.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna make one. I was waiting for this bug to get fixed because I couldn't do any testing because there was inaccurate information because it was broken. Yeah, so I was just like, I don't even want to put anything up yet. It's not going to be finished.
For sure, man. Well, hey, thanks for being on, and we're gonna go ahead and get Talons up on the thing, and we'll be right back.
Sweet. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Have a good one, buddy.
Yep. Thanks for coming.
Peace out.
Anyways, so we're going to go ahead and get started with Reddit news. And there's been a couple interesting things going on that we thought were worth our time. And why don't you go ahead and get started, Big? You're our usual Reddit man.
Actually, you know what? I wasn't going to do this one, but I think I'm going to throw it in here real quick. There was just a post on 10 ways to kill your friends in Star Wars, and there was a few good ones, a couple pulling down. There was a couple pulls. I was just wondering if you guys had interesting ways that you've ever killed your friends here in Star Wars.
The Talons?
Which, this was
don't get me started.
The Sork.
No, the Talons probably had 3 of them at least that he's done to us.
I have a million pulls people off the fleet, but I recently, when we're getting ready for Fortress, there's that little bridge there over the lava, and challenging someone to a duel and then overloading them off the edge is fun.
What
about you, Ignitia? You ever killed any of your friends here in SWTOR?
Well, yes, I have, and on numerous occasions it's been. Oh, I'm a Sork.
All you military
Best way.
out there, Ignitia is the classic example of a Blue Falcon, aka Buddy Effer. All right, we all know it. So if you're military out there, Ignitia, give us the Falcon, swoop. Like cuckoo, just go ahead and just do it, you Blue Falcon, and then go ahead.
Hey, you do it perfectly already, brother. You do it perfectly already. Now, mine is, ever since I went over to Sork, is the infamous pull, sorcerer pull. It's really, really fun and kills people a lot. But I also happen to see that Reddit...
going on in the background or some sort of music. What's going on over there?
Coffee maker.
Oh, okay.
But I did actually happen to see that post that you're talking about, Pick, and I also happen to enjoy the fact that he actually made up a datacron in a tree and killed his friend by it because he actually thought he saw blue light coming from it.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. What about you there, Rondo? Have you ever killed any of your friends here in Star Wars?
I haven't. They didn't give me anything cool enough to do. I guess maybe the only thing that I get people sometimes is I'm like, let's go out and kill them in front of the new raids, Dread Fortress, and I let them run out and get pulled, and I step back. I've done that a few times, but then usually it's Talons and he pulls me in, so it's never successful.
Yeah, I'm operative a couple times, like to pull some epic bosses, and then when they're coming to me, I'll drop aggro, and then when they're done killing them, I'll just stealth out and be the last one alive. So
I think my favorite way to kill you guys, though, is when Xansis runs in stealthed to forget that he's stealthed and not pulling and run in with him. I think that's my favorite way.
Oh, you mean face pull the boss and wipe the raid?
Tomatoes. I call it killing you. You call it not doing the right thing. It's either way, man.
Blue Falcon. Blue Falcon.
Hey, I've proved I can flap my wings.
You're a proud member of that royal order.
What else? What else? I think you had another one.
All right.
Big, other than killing your friends. Thanks for bringing it up. Thanks for calling me out. You know, able to call you guys. You guys kill me. But what's the other one?
All right, well, another one was a little bit of information that wasn't yet published to the Star Wars website. It was some information about the letterboards coming to the StarWars.com website. Not any real info except for to say that the ranked season 1 is going to end when patch 2.7 is, and that's when they plan to update the web-based letterboard and have them in there by tier. So. It's nothing that's been officially announced yet, so we'll have to see if any more info comes. But so, what do you guys think? It's not even 2.5, so 2.
Well,
yeah, that's what I said. It doesn't even show the customer service rep that replied to this name. So, I mean, theoretically, this could be photoshopped. And
so the backstory is somebody is saying that they asked how it's going to work, correct? The how the PvP
the letterboard's correct.
Work, and he got a response supposedly saying that it's going to be something that happens at the end of 2.7, right? Or at the start or at the end?
Well, at the end, that's when the end of season 1 will theoretically be.
Be ending or beginning?
Ending at 2.7, so we're not up to even 2.5 yet. So that could be 6 months theoretically based on their release time frame.
Unless they start it in 2.5, right? I mean, because all that says is, we're under the assumption at that point that they're going to start it during a large patch, which I guess that would be a general assumption, but it's one of those things where they're giving us, they said they had a target date, as we said in past broadcasts, that it could still be just something like you had talked about. Hey, here you go, have fun with it, right? Like, we're just under the assumption that it's going to be a large patch.
Correct. They still have it slated, I think, for a couple weeks away when they push that back. But again, let's not hold our breath. When it's here, we'll start doing some more actual ranked season 1. But until then. But the last topic on Reddit was just a question about, do people actually enjoy PvP? It was a really long post. His main issue is he doesn't get to play too often. He doesn't have a set guild he gets, so he only gets to pug solo, so he doesn't really have much of that group feel. But his main concern, it seemed like, was people, after the match is over, no one really sits there and congratulates each other and say, hey, that was some good defense there, good job calling out those incomings early. It's just, seems everyone just maybe trying to hurry up and get out so they can start the next queue. And, sometimes they won't even stick around long enough to vote. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think the PvP players are, compared to other games, the community is engaging with each other on the teams? Or do you think after, people just lose the match, they're just trying to get in there and queue right away?
As of right now, I see it as more PvP has kind of like lost its luster a little bit from the very beginning. It just seems like everybody goes in there mainly just to get comms and get in, get out, and do it again just so they can get that gear. The only time I actually see it somewhat feel like a community is when you have fellow guildies or fellow players in there that are, like, hey, you did a good job doing this, or hey, help me out here. But at the same time, I rarely see anybody congratulate anybody else because it just seems like nobody cares. PvP has become more of an individual type thing instead of a team-based, but that's just, I don't know. The PvP community just seems to be ever evolving, and they tend to have their own stereotypes.
Well, let's
What about you, Talon? After
other games for that too. The PvP isn't made. I'm sorry, PvP is not made to be pat you on the back type of freaking thing. It's made to be if you're doing wrong, we're gonna scream down your throat, because don't you know every PvPer is the best PvPer in their own head.
Yeah, I mean, it comes with everything. I mean, from the, when it comes to player versus player-esque type environments, whether it is the first-person shooters, the MOBAs, and MMOs, it's always more all about them than it is about the team. And when it comes to solo queues and individual queues within the casual environment, on the same note, the rank deals are the same way. But at the same time, when it comes to guild based, where they actually have a fixed team and they're all in the same deal, yeah, they talk to each other, they work out their weaknesses and try to build each other up to be stronger. But that's the only thing, is you have to be already part of a group instead of being by yourself, because in all, nobody seems to really care about you if you queue by yourself. It's just like, whatever, you're just that guy on our team for this game. And after you die so many times and the game's over, ta-ta, bye, and have a nice day and just move on.
Unless you're Talons, though. I mean, that guy's got so much free love for everybody. The resident hippie up in here, Right, Talons? Like, you got a lot of love for your fellow people. I mean, is there a hug? I haven't tried to hug people, but I could imagine that if they were doing Talons would try to hug people in game to make them feel better.
I don't know about that, but
yeah. Come on.
But I do. I mean, in PvP, I think they could do more for even having, like we talked about before, like role playing abilities where I'm going to bring up Smite, but where someone does a good job, you can shout out to them, like awesome or good job or whatever, just like you rock kind of thing. Just a quick like role playing thing that you could do during the PvP match, because people aren't going to hang around afterwards and like pat each other on the back. They're going to jump out and get into the next match. And it's true, unless you're in a guild or in a group and you're on vent talking to each other, you're not going to be as vocal about that kind of stuff. So
yeah, and I don't think that it's PvP's made to be that way, because even when you're doing everything right, you do one thing wrong and they're jumping down your freaking throat. I mean, look at us. We're the nicest, well, not the nicest, but we get along fairly well, the four of us in Vent, and when we're in a good PvP match, whatever game we're playing, if Big's too far forward, who Big is like one of the never talks crap to anybody type of person, we're jumping down his throat. Big, what are you doing? Why are you that far up?
yeah.
You're this. What are you doing? And Big's like, oh man, I'm just trying to have fun. It's cool. And it happens all the time. Ignitia, why aren't you over here? Oh, I'm scratching my nose, pretending like I'm not picking it. Something like that. And Talons is like, Talons, where are you? Oh man, the tree needed to be hugged as I was running past it. And me, I'm just doing everything right. So I just want to let you all know that's why I'm yelling at you, because I'm perfect. No?
Right, of course.
No?
Thank you, then. I guess we should be thanking you.
No.
So do people enjoy PvP? I'm going to say, yeah, they enjoy it so much that they wanted out of your queue and into another queue. That's why they do it. They wanted out so quickly that they had no time to tell you good job, because they wanted to queue again. That's my outlook on it. Yeah, they like PvP. They don't have any time for you.
Yeah, I guess so. If they don't rage at you, then that means they think you didn't do too bad of a job.
Right.
Is that what we're agreeing on here?
Yeah, I mean, it's the truth. If you go and get your car fixed and they do a bad job, you're going to tell all your friends in the world. If you go and get your car fixed and they do a good job, you're not going to tell anybody. Think about it. you don't
Well, yes and no. I mean, a good mechanic is hard to come by, so I think he will. You tell people who to go to when it comes to stuff like that. People do come, recommended, but I know what you're saying. People are much more vocal about people that are doing a crappy job. Yeah.
We want to see seasonal stuff that we don't have to pay cartel items for. So we're the guys, like, give it to us, but we don't want to pay for it, so let's complain. We're good at that. And I don't think that's a complaint. I think that's do your job. I mean, so let me, for example, this is what we're talking about, and then I'm going to give it to my panel to take over. We're talking about in other MMOs, we have Christmas, we have, or do you just call it holiday events that are fun, and we seem to get cartel items that is a mount that throws out snow, or a meditation chamber that looks like a pumpkin. Ignitia, how do you feel? How do you feel about that? I mean, yeah, we're getting events, but do you feel like something's missing in this aspect?
Yeah, I feel something's missing a lot. Mind you, it's not all about, say, based on where you are, like we're celebrating the American holidays or anything like that. But there are like general holiday seasons, especially around Christmas, New Year's. You had Halloween that just happened. Well, Thanksgiving is more of an American type deal, but at the same time, you have those. Like just events in general. Like we can also include May 4th for make it the official Star Wars holiday, if you want to call it that. But the thing is, it just feels like there's a lack of actual spirit going into it. It's just like, oh, it's Halloween, so here, spend money on this, and you can celebrate your Halloween cheer with that. And it's just like, no, that's not the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be where, you know, like, give us possibly a quest line event like that. You know, give it like a new comm or something like that to where we can actually get the item. But the thing is it's supposed to bring the community, especially the server communities, together in an essence of actually doing things cooperatively and just having that like spiritualness of what the holiday actually is. And I mean, some of these events have been fantastic, but like in the case of like Halloween, the Raccoon event would have been perfect for it. And I mean, it's one of those type of deals that's, you know, screams, oh my God, I'm going to get killed by, you know, ravenous plague people, you know, and it gives you a chance to really work together as a community, and that's what I believe the events should be. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Gree event.
All right, stop. Keep going on forever. What do you think, B? I'm sorry. I know. I did round robin this. Goddamn, you were. Holy crap, you went forever. Holy crap!
Well, there has
like I've never seen you talk that. Well, I know I've taken it back. You've talked for a long time, but holy crap! Like we could. Did I?
He loves the holidays.
Oh man, I
love my holidays, man.
A holiday person. Like I think last time I said he didn't look like somebody who could swim, but. You know.
Well, I mean, I think that, yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that event-wise, I mean, the Rat Ghoul Plague would have been perfect for Halloween, and they can do themed events, but, you know, I don't think, you know, like some MMOs, during Christmas, everything will be decorated and have Christmas, you know, banners up and everything, and I do not want to see the fleet with Christmas lights on it or anything like that. You know, they got to be careful about not taking away from the Star Wars. Right. And Christmas is for conservatives. I don't know what that means. Christmas is a pagan holiday, so. No, it's not. It's a pagan holiday. Anyway, my point is that you can do it, but you gotta stay within the Star Wars feel and not get too overblown with the holiday stuff.
But I think Ignitia brought up a good point. We could have done the National Star Wars Day. Why not? That seems like something that should never pass without us. We're all nerds here. We all remember the first time we saw Star Wars. Let's freaking enjoy it. Throw something. Give me something to go do a quest line for, you know?
On top of that, I mean, if you want to celebrate the Christmas season without being like Christmassy, as you would say, actually, instead of selling the items for the Life Day event, actually have a Life Day event.
Yeah, or my thing is, I totally forgot what I was going to say. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, like I said, with the Life Day, they did that. That was around the whole Christmas time and the holidays and stuff. I mean, they had a tree, and their whole point was, they're giving us a monthly stipend for the cartel coins. Like the pumpkin is technically almost 2 months worth of cartel coins, so you could have saved up for a month and able to buy these type of items. So it's not everything you do have to pay for. Around Christmas, or I'm sorry, around 4th of July, they did the fireworks bundles that were only was it 1 or 10 cartel coins. They did an anniversary with the title of Revan, and it gave us the Revan's Heir title as well. So they've done a little bit, and I do like the events, and I don't necessarily need them tied to any holiday. I mean, especially if we're going to have a 1 or 2 week event during the holiday season, which half the players aren't going to get to be on. I prefer them being in a standard, non-holiday weekend that's just, throughout the week that, give us a little time saying, hey, this event's going to come up in 2 weeks, and that way we get to know, and people that really want to grind out those certain items have a little bit of, leeway to it. Guessing with the Raccoon Plague, they're probably going to surprise us with that one again, and, probably not give us any warning that we're just going to get some sort of,
Hey, you don't have warning.
somewhere.
You don't have warning that the Raggle Plague is coming. Come on, it's a plague. It just outbreaks.
Can I play devil's advocate to what I was saying earlier also? Because
No, you can't take my name.
I have
Hello.
a side of me that also is that I was thinking about earlier before when we really started talking about doing this subject, and that is that doesn't it leave it open for the community to decide to do their own events too? Because I think that one of the things that we have is a very active community. And once you start getting onto the Reddit posts and stuff like that, and you see what people are really doing, I think not doing it as a dev is almost, and I mean, now, did they mean for this to happen? I don't know. But it's almost leaving it open for people within the community to take their own initiative. And we've seen it with, SWTOR?
Yeah.
And
SWTOR does
yeah, I mean, we were going
does
to
events.
anyways, but what I would mean is she's doing where you can put your own costume together and send her a screen cap starting on the 4th of November, which is this month. In 3 days. You can start sending her screen caps, and not only is it a fun thing to do, but you can actually she's going to give money to her local children's hospital, $1 per screen cap.
Was that a cat?
Sorry, my cat walked across my computer.
Yeah, SWTOR is also doing something that's very, very helpful to both communities. It's getting the Star Wars community to try to come together and just, show off their best, when it comes to, like, say, white tie event fashion. But it's trying to get the SWTOR community to do things as a whole together. And on the same note, it's benefiting the community surrounding her by actually donating to the local children's hospital. And I firmly will also be making a white tie event fashion screen size, so she has to donate that $1 to the local children's hospital. I think it's a good cause, and it's what she believes in, and I actually completely support her in every way possible.
Yeah, and I think what it comes down to is that we've told them we don't want a cookie cutter sort of MMO. We've said it multiple times. So by asking them to do this for us and do it every year, and it's the same thing and they never change it, that's, to me, making it cookie cutter. I mean, wouldn't you say?
Ish.
Oh my.
Specifically.
Somebody.
No, well, specifically. Well, I got a full brain, bro. But at the same time,
Sorry.
What I would be going with is, like, say, the two major events that we know are to be SWTOR or Star Wars-esque type events. One would be Life Day, which would be really, really cool. I mean, you could start if you need to, you can create a new planet like Kashyyyk, which would be pretty awesome. And the other one is May 4th. Please do something with that day, because that's like the World Star Wars Day. We can always, I think everybody can agree on those two events. But at the same time, do I really want to pay for money for it? Not really.
You pay money for everything else.
Exactly. That's the point. I think I spend way too much on this game so far.
Yeah. And a lot of other things I see you getting skins on and other things too. But no, I agree. I think this one's I think we've hit our talking points on this one. I think that, do we need it? No. Would we like to see some stuff? Yes. But it's not necessary. It's not going to make or break me with this game, to be honest. I mean, wouldn't you guys agree?
Yeah, I agree with that. It'd just be something I would like to see in the future, but it's not going to break me from the game.
No, and it shouldn't, because I didn't play this to be like, oh, when Christmas comes along, Santa's bringing me some fun in the video games, and I'm not getting little coals. I'm going to be a good little boy and get presents, and they're going to send me these little tauntauns with a Santa hat on it, Daddy. You know, like, come on. We don't need it.
Wouldn't it be Darth Santa, though?
Yes.
I hope you edit that part out.
It's with a Santa hat. We don't need it, you know? I'm sorry. This isn't, like, I don't need Scrooge running around.
I agree.
During our Christmas time in the video game. You know?
Yeah.
Little Timmy, or whatever his name was in the Christmas Story, or you know, with Scrooge. What was his name? Little Tommy or something.
Timmy.
It's Tiny Tim.
Tiny Tim. All right? We don't need Tiny Tim.
Timmy.
Okay, I'm already depressed enough. If I'm seeing Tiny Tim walking around asking for a freaking for a turkey on Fleet, okay, I don't need it. And then is there anything else more to say now on this subject?
Wow.
I think you killed it.
I think you killed it.
With Tiny Tim.
I'm just saying.
They're both dead now.
He doesn't need a turkey, okay? He needs a
He needs a new leg, right? Which you know, if you watch the story, he saves him in the end. So
you know, I was so bored with it by then. I don't think I finished it because I didn't have any empathy. I chose Sith for a reason, guys. Come on now.
no, yeah, I agree. Tiny Tim's a little punk.
Yeah, he's a whiner.
Oh,
He should have
moocher.
a job with Black Lung by now. He should be working in the mines. Like, if you're really upset that you don't have any money, go get a job.
That's probably not that injury. He probably was working the
He
mines,
might have
and then
been.
Are we
That's like
serious?
that's an at-work injury right there.
Yeah, he can collect disability and Social Security. All right, move on.
Right? And if he had good parents, they would have health care for him. All right, moving on, because I'm just being rude right now. It's just for the fun of it. We're Sith, okay? We're Sith.
Yeah,
That's why it's red.
I'm a light-sided Sith, so I'm just gonna go with that.
Saber. No. Is it green? No. Is it purple? No. Okay? It's freaking an orangish red because I messed up on my order and I got an orange. But it still looks a little red.
Hey, orange is awesome.
The orange is sick, actually. I really like it, but it's not red, but I can pretend, like, or something. I get it. My wife's like, I don't think that's red. I'm like, no, I think it's red. I'm like looking at it. Like, oh shoot, let me look at my order. Oh man, I put in for orange. But I still love it. It's the coolest thing I own. My kids love it too. They swing it around. Like, my 2-year-old was hitting my 6-month-old with it the other day. All right, thanks for coming with us. Just real quick, I'm going to show you off my Manticore. That's right. I'm going to go ahead and when you check it out on the website, 42gaming.com. There's a link up to go check us out on ultrasabers.com, which is the leader in dueling lightsabers. Coolness factor is through the roof with these things. Once you hold them in your hand, you will not go back. You will be ordering multiple ones. So that might be actually a disclaimer to say, don't do it if you're poor, like Tiny Tim. But if you're rich, like Scrooge, get yourself a lightsaber. They're so cool.
That should be their new slogan. If you're rich like Scrooge,
Right.
and you don't care about Tiny Tim, then buy a lightsaber.
Wow.
But it's true. They're the best. There's nothing like them. So.
All right, everybody, just remember, have a great week PvPing, PvEing, and if you're in Palace or Fortress, well, more like Fortress, we're definitely further than you in Fortress, but have a great week trying to catch up. All right, guys, that was two elitists. Anyways, just have a great week. Enjoy the game, and we will catch you next week on Enmity Podcasting. Anybody, just say goodnight. Say goodnight, peeps.
See you.